Hi, I'm Sue from the blog Stories of an Unschooling Family. Welcome to my video. This week I have part 2 of an interview I did with my 22-year-old son Callum. I hope you enjoy the conclusion of our conversation. Now, after you dropped out of uni, I know that you developed a new passion, and that working at Aldi has given you the money to actually pursue something else. You want to tell us about that, Callum?
It's dropping out of uni and even working full time. I certainly had a bit more free time at home, and a lot more money working the extra hours. So I took time to invest in my interest in cars and car repairs and modifications.
You said the other day something about how someone came up to you and said, how does someone learn to fix a car? And they were quite in awe of knowing someone who hadn't gone to TAFE or learnt it professionally, how they could fix the car. Tell me about that.
Okay, one of the guys I work with, he knows I have a car, a couple of cars I'm working on, and he couldn't understand how. Well, he was asking whether I was mechanically trained, and I said no. It's just bits I picked up along the way. I had an old Commodore station wagon, and I used to pay for everything to get fixed on that, and eventually it was costing me too much and I couldn't get it re-registered. So the next car I bought, as things broke, just replaced little bits at a time. I was lucky to have my neighbour's a mechanic, so I sort of got information off him, helped diagnose the problem, then went away and repaired it myself. My particular interest are 70s Holden Kingswoods, which the engine is beautiful and simple, very easy to work on, and having such a nice simple engine was a great way in learning how it all goes together. And then when you go back to a more modern engine, it's the same principles, just slightly more complicated.
So you really taught yourself by going out and finding out the right information, reading books, going on the internet, joining in with forums, that type of thing?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So really you're unschooling?
Well, yes, yeah.
So you'd say that you continue learning even though you're no longer a school-age child, that as an adult you're still continuing to follow passions, to learn, and one day it might even turn into a career. What do you think?
Oh, hopefully. That's what I'm working towards at the minute. But yeah, never stop looking and reading and trying to find out more about these things I have interests in.
Yeah, it's something else that's led to something else, hasn't it? Some other course that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, at the end of last year, I have to admit I was not enjoying work as much as I could have been, and so I started realising I need to find something else, something I'm really passionate about to work on for long term. And so after having this hobby with cars, I started looking at ways I could turn that into a job. I looked at being a mechanic, but my greatest interest is not in the actual repairs to a car. It's the modification and the performance and the restoration of particularly older cars. So I enrolled in a fabrication course at TAFE.
So, and how's that gone?
It's gone well so far. I completed my first semester last week, so I qualified to do one form of welding. Next semester has been very exciting, doing the most commonly used and universal form of welding, as well as fabrication techniques, which will be the forming and of metal into shapes, which will be very, very useful for what I eventually want to do.
Which is, what do you eventually want to do?
Run my own customization and restoration car shop. So take an old car or a customer's car and change the engines or repair the rust in it.
So is that what you think that people should do? Follow their interests and see if it leads into a career?
I think so. Even if it doesn't, I mean, you're going to enjoy the experience if it's in your interest, and you're going to further your hobby regardless of what happens. But I know you can make anything work so long as it's truly what you're you want to do and what you're interested in.
I know we've talked about this before, but a lot of people play safe and say, well, there aren't many jobs in a particular industry, or your dream job only a few people have. Is that a good reason for not pursuing your dream?
I don't think so. That's very much the case with what I want to do. There aren't many shops like that in my area. It would be very easy just to have stayed a manager at Aldi's and kept working. But I think if you don't take the risks, you don't get the rewards. You can really.
Yeah, I guess that you're in a fortunate position where you still have a job at Aldi, which gives you security at the moment while you're pursuing your passions at the same time, which is the best of both worlds, isn't it?
That's right. I've been very lucky with my boss has been very flexible with the whole time. When I was at uni, I just kept changing days off. Now I'm back at TAFE. She's rostering my shifts around the time off I need at work. But yeah, having the security to not only fund these things, I'm paying for TAFE as I go at the minute, but also in the future, if I keep needing to study, I'm looking, moving out hopefully next year, and you'll be able to keep studying at the same time.
Oh, Callum, you're 22 and you said that you're preparing to leave home and start a new phase of your life, maybe towards the end of the year. Well, so what is it? Do you still feel part of the family? You're living here with us, you're an adult, you've been in the workforce for quite a few years now, you've got your own outside interests. Where does the family fit in?
They're still very central in my life. It's always enjoy spending time with them, try and make some time in between everything else that goes on. They're very, very important. It's very nice to have a place to come back to that's always welcoming, no matter how the day's turned out and what's going on.
Find your sisters have hung your washing on the line for you.
That's right, yes.
Have a sister who doesn't mind coming with you to have a look at yet another old vehicle with you up in Sydney.
That's right, yes. Definitely good value there.
Okay, Callum. Let's talk about you and your parents. Do you get on well with your parents?
Oh, definitely, very, very much so.
So, how about Dad? Tell me a bit about you and Dad.
Dad and I, we get on very well. We do lots together. Like we go to the gym together, which is good. Always pushing each other to try harder and work out more. It was Dad who helped me with when I first started getting interested in cars. We do a lot of that together. We rebuilt an engine between us.
I think that was one of Dad's former passions. Was he always wanted to work on cars, and he's never had time. He's got a family, but he likes to help you. That's
right, and he's a great source of information. Whereas Dad might not have had as much time to play with cars, he definitely has a wealth of knowledge on the subject. It's always good to go for a bit of information and inspiration. Other things we do, we last year we did a lot of singing together in the church choir. Due to work and other things, I'm not doing as much of that this year. And we also enjoy watching movies and football in the evenings. Yeah, we never talked about your singing, did we? That you're quite musical. You've had singing voice lessons, and you've actually taken singing exams. You've been in the choir, or a couple of choirs, and yeah, sing with the family. That's a very big thing, isn't it? Right, for the whole family, yes. It's our thing. Our thing, yeah. It binds us together. Not that I sing at all, but I'm there, the audience, the appreciative audience. Support group. Yeah, that's right. Yes, actually, it's worked out really well, isn't it? You're the bass. Are you the bass? I'm the bass. Yeah. Dad's tenor, Charlotte's the alto, and Imogen's the soprano. You form your own little group. Okay, tell us about what you feel about your mum. My mum's wonderful. She always listens. We always catch up at some point in the day. She always has a great interest of anything I'm doing, regardless of whether she understands what this part of the car is. I always admire your car parts. It's always wonderful, yes. Enjoy catching up with and going out for a coffee whenever we can. probably not as often as we should, but Mum's very, very adventurous. She's hopped in every single one of my cars I've ever owned, which is, well, that's brave to say the least. And even the other day we had to pick up a new fridge, big 610 litre thing. It was this tall. We towed it in the back of my station wagon all the way from half an hour trip. This big, it was nearly a story tall by the time it was on the back of the trailer. Mum sat there, very brave, in the seat next to me. Yeah, get on very well with Mum. Really love her a lot.
Oh, it's nice of you, Callum. Thank you. Thanks. Now, there's one more question I'd like to ask you. It's something we've talked about before. We first came up, or maybe when you were at uni, and you told me that you knew you were different. You felt different. Yeah?
Yep.
So, I guess different from the university students, different from the school kids that you went to St John Ambulance with. Would you say also different from some homeschoolers?
I think so, yes, definitely.
Yes, unschoolers are a pretty weird crowd, hey?
That's right. Homeschoolers are strange, unschoolers are downright weird.
So, you do feel different. I mean, I feel different too. Does that worry you? Would you like to have gone and been the same as everybody else, to gone through the same experience as everybody else?
Oh no, I enjoy it. I enjoy even the shock factor of being different, being able to pull some sort of skill or piece of knowledge out of the hat that nobody expects you to know. So
would you say you're a confident person, secure in your own skin, that it doesn't really matter that you're not the same as everybody else?
I definitely agree with that, yes.
So, yeah, so your overall homeschooling experience was positive, do you think?
I think so, yes, and definitely set me in good stead for the rest of my life.
So you're not saying that because I'm sitting here behind the camera.
No.
So yeah, so you haven't got any complaints.
No, not at all.
So a lot of people say, well, my children are going to say to me, I wish you did this, I wish you'd done that. It wasn't a good experience at all, but that's not the case?
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, I think I've come to the end of my questions, Callum, so you didn't do too badly, did you?
I hope so.
We only had to retake a couple of bits. So, Noel, I'd just like to thank you for being part of my video and giving up part of your afternoon to answer my questions.
That's fine. Perfectly welcome.
Thank you, Callum.